Hi guys, I want to introduce you to the first episode of Las Factivistas. I'm going to be doing this a couple times a month, hopefully, where we're going to be interviewing different young activists in their community doing the work with a call to action for everyone to join them. So today we're going to be bringing on Ash, aka Poli-Sci Princess. They're new to Twitch, but they have a really great following on TikTok. They do a lot of fundraising on Instagram as well, and a lot of in-person things. So we're just gonna be having a conversation, getting to know them a little bit, and go from there. All right, Ash, we should be able to hear you now if you want to say hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. If you want to just give it like a quick introduction, dox yourself. How old are you? Where are you from? Who are you?
Okay, I really try hard not to get doxxed on the internet. It doesn't always work though, because sometimes people will just like say exactly where I'm from, and I'm just like, okay, anyway, time to move on with my life. Like, what do you even do with that?
Yeah, like, what do you do with that?
Anyway, hi everyone, I'm Ashley, aka Ash Y, aka Poli-Sci Princess. I'm 24 years old and I live in America. I have been making videos for 3 years now. Just decided one day, I have a camera, I have a voice, I'm really knowledgeable, so it's important for me to share what I know and to open lines of discourse where I can change people's minds. Our political opposition, they really have a stronghold on the internet for a lot of reasons. So my goal is just to community build and to help empower other people to act.
So you are studying poli-sci, right, in school?
Yeah, I graduated in 2023 with my master's in public policy, and my undergrad is in political science and nonprofit studies. So I do have a really good understanding of systems, taken so many classes, written so many papers, but like some random on the internet will still like come into my chat and tell me I'm like uneducated and I don't know what I'm talking about. But I know that I know what I'm talking about, so that is what keeps me going.
Do you feel that there was like a moment that led you to poli-sci that like radicalized you, or do you feel that studying it is what kind of led you to doing all of this activism?
I always knew that I was going to study political science. Gen Z is the most international generation in all of history. We have access to parts of the world and to social problems that have happened in the world in ways that previous generations haven't. I think that kids are so emotionally intelligent and just like keyed into what's going on, and I've just never really shook that. I just have always seen the injustices in the world, and I've only grown to know them more, and it's only motivated me more to get justice in this world.
I'm curious how your like political activism and your views have kind of affected your relationships with your family. Are they on the same side as you? Are you kind of like the lone wolf, so to speak, in your family? How does that look back at home?
My family, I probably have them to thank for how argumentative I am. I think me and my mom are pretty much on the same page about everything, but I have a Republican dad. It's a canon event.
So my dad is a Cuban Republican, so there is no judgment in this house, okay? I hear you.
It's been really rewarding, I think, to get my formal education, to learn more about why, my red side of the family is the way that they are, why everyone is the way that we are, and just to hold space and have empathy and just to kind of like lovingly guide them away from the Fox News radicalization pipeline that they have been sucked into and that they are victims of at the end of the day.
No, I completely agree. I feel that because my mom especially, Latinos are very known for being conservatives. It's very more the new generation, like my age and younger, who tend to either move more Democrat, more leftist, more liberal, more progressive, whatever. But I will say that as I've aged, my mom went from, being like a super staunch Republican conservative to where I know for a fact, I know who she voted for the last few elections. And I also know that some of the policies that she's voted for, like she has sat down with like my sister or me and been like, can we go through these together? And has voted more progressive than I think a regular, true vote down the ballot red would do. Even if we might not always agree, it's still really important to like start at home, start with our family, and try to meet each other halfway as much as we possibly can and affect our community, that way as well. So did you grow up Muslim? Because I know you do wear hijab, and I am wondering, how does that play a part in your activism and the work that you're doing?
In so many ways. I was not born Muslim. I grew up in a Catholic family, and my family is still Catholic. I've been Muslim now since Ramadan last March, so about 9 months now. And how it plays into my activism, I think the biggest thing, like, Islam is a very socialist religion. Like, one of our pillars of Islam is literally wealth distribution. Like, you're meant to give, it's called the zakat, like you're meant to give away the wealth that you are blessed with to others who need it. There's also the concept of the ummah, like we're all one. So when someone over there is in pain and is suffering, it's like I take it very personally. Because I wear the hijab, I'm very visibly Muslim. So I have to act like it. Like I don't want to give Islam like a bad name. So when I am arguing with someone, when I am having a conversation online, like I really have to be on my best behavior. And I think that that has been for the best, because people are straight up like not gonna listen to you if you're mean. People might barely listen to me because they see me wearing a hijab, so I don't need to make it any worse by being mean. It's one of my biggest copes in all of this too. People are going to act however they want to act, but I know that God sees everything. No one gets away with any kind of evil, even if it feels like they're getting away with it on earth. Like, there's perfect and divine justice.
It is interesting how, like you said, you know, our at-home politics, how those things really do affect not just the trajectory of like our lives, but of our parents, our siblings, our friends. You know, my mom's changed a lot, and we went from being this like very Catholic family to, you know, more progressive, more leftist values. I think it does play a part in that like internal kind of at-home environment of politics. These little small decisions that we think are like personal, individual decisions almost never are.
Yeah, real. There's so much we could talk about there just in that alone.
I did want to talk a lot about, obviously, because the way that I found you because I was like swiping and you popped up. I think a lot of people, especially with how long the G side has been going on, I think people have started to check out. They're trying to get away from those videos, try to like reset their algorithm. How do you navigate being so involved with this and taking space as well for like your own mental health and your own at-home problems and things that you're going through?
I mean, for me, it's easy. For me, it's like giving up is not even an option. There's this idea that you shouldn't compare your life to other people's lives. In some respects, I can see that as true. But I think that there needs to be a little bit of like comparing your life and what you have going on and what your problems are compared to other people's problems in the world. Because at the end of the day, if you value a free Palestine, if you value liberation for all, that isn't something that is like a passive value. It's something that you actively have to work toward every day, and you have to integrate into your life every day. A lot of it is just like holding those feelings and being like, okay, this sucks, and sometimes I feel this way. Just remember that the fascists, they always have stamina. If anything, they get more stamina by like draining our energy and by like reveling in the fact that they have pushed us into feelings of despair. I just get so mad when I see other people, especially if they live in America, if they just give up, because now you're just as bad as them. Like, now you're complicit. There are doctors still treating patients. There are journalists who are still reporting. There are civil defense teams who are still rescuing the wounded. All that on an empty stomach. All that while losing everyone they love. All that while dodging bombs and quadcopter bullets. So what right in the world do we have to give up? I mean, please, like, get over yourselves. I'm sorry. I know that's mean. That's not for a lot. I know that's kind of mean. If you live in a place where you do not have to worry about any single one of the things that Palestinians have to worry about right now in Gaza, you are blessed, and you have a responsibility to them to do everything you can in your power to stop it. If you feel bad, if you feel sad, if you feel despaired, you're not going to feel better by giving up. Like, you will feel better by helping other people.
Yeah.
Like, you will feel better by doing what you can, by donating, by making videos, by being a life source for them. We are put on earth to help other people. Like, it literally, psychologically, you are rewarded when you help other people. So by unplugging, just giving up, you're just hurting yourself in the end. And also, you're killing people.
I think it's kind of a rude awakening for the West. I think that a lot of us are realizing that the comforts that we have been at the cost of not just lives, but just entire communities. entire families who are erased off the map because we need an iPhone with like one more camera lens. Like it's something, it's like a cognitive dissonance, and you're waking up to the fact that like this cushy life you've had is because other people are suffering. I work in the apparel industry, and it's something I've always tried to like get people to understand that $5 t-shirt is only $5 because someone didn't get to eat to make that shirt for you. And someone's resources have been taken from them to get that shirt to you at $5. And that's for every company, because they make these 50 to 75% internal markup. And if you're making 75% internal markup on a $5, $10, $25 item, how much did the factory get paid? How much did the factory worker get paid? How much of that went into logistics? I think that's also helped facilitate the TikTok ban, is I think now that people have such easy access to this knowledge and are educating each other, the political tides are changing in a way that the upper class are kind of like, whoa, 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 hold up. Can you go back to just like consuming? We want you consuming, because now people are questioning. It's an unfortunate time, but I do think it's because of the fact that people are so drastically changing. It does help me think like maybe this is where we can latch onto some hope, latch onto our community to continue fostering more progressive changes.
And big change, like big systemic change, doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Change can't happen overnight. Change can happen in a minute. Change can happen in a day, in hours, in one conversation. Never underestimate the power of a ripple. But at the same time, big systemic change, it kind of reminds me of this. So when you get a massage, like when you have a bunch of like knots in your back, after one massage, you're not going to get rid of them.
Yeah.
It took a while for them to get there, and so it's going to take a while and a lot of massaging to get rid of them. So that's kind of like a weird analogy for systemic issues. We inherited these problems. They're centuries old, sometimes longer than that. It took a while to get here. It's going to take a while for it to change. Even if I don't know when this is all going to end, I know that it is. It's not going to be an accident, though. It's going to be the result of all of our sustained effort and activism and work.
Yeah, and I know that I have stumbled on channels where they'll do like positive things that have come out of the boycotts, of the protests, of the petition. When we see these college kids getting beat up, when we see that like this is a red line that keeps getting crossed and they keep ignoring it, I think it's very easy to feel demoralized and be like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? What's the point? And I think that's why a lot of people didn't vote, is because they've really felt like, well, so what? The Electoral College is going to decide, so who cares? So I do think that those channels where they're like, hey, because you've been boycotting this college has divested. This company has gotten rid of their, like Ben and Jerry's, I think, got rid of their Israel stores or factories or whatever it was. Good things have come out of this at a very high cost, but I think, like you said, one day we will be past that point. We will be where this is over, and it won't be because we waited for it to end. It'll be because we all activated and united against this. We have to continue calling, we have to continue writing, and we have to continue protesting outside of fundraising for these families and these individuals who still have to pay rent, still have to buy food. They can, like, still have to pay for necessities and be a part of the capitalist system while fighting for their lives. And so this kind of leads me to, like, my inbox, for example, is filled with people messaging me, hey sister, hey sister, hey sister, I need help. Can you help me? Can you donate? How do you know which of these are like worth being invested into and it's not a scam?
There are scammers out there. And that's like sick and twisted and disgusting. Anyone who I advocate for to like raise funds for them, we just had to video chat. It's unfortunate because for the families who are really there, they shouldn't have to go to such lengths to prove that they are there and that they are suffering on top of everything else that they're doing. The best way to know if someone is in Gaza just off the jump is if they make videos of themselves there. Even though I can't give money to like every single person I come across, some people are in a position where they can do that. And they should. At the very least, I always engage with videos when I see them from trusted accounts. And again, you can see if they're trusted by, you know, looking at their videos. How long have they been posting? Is their account new? Is it the same person in all of those videos? Like, I've seen so many accounts that just post videos from like anyone and everyone. And that's how you know those accounts are fake.
There's always going to be that person who profits from it. You're drowning out the voices of those who actually need help. For what? for blood money, basically. If you had something that you could say that's like a positive impact, that you're like, you know what, I facilitated this and this happened because of me, to kind of like show people in chat and whoever's watching this, like, if Ash can do this, like, so can I.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty easy to start a GoFundMe for someone, to make videos promoting that GoFundMe, and at the very least, if you're not going to do all that, find creators who do. Through the donations that I've been able to send through cryptocurrency, which if anyone needs more in-depth information on that, I can share. I was able to help a family get a tent in the first Al Mawasi massacre. My friend, they lost their home, like they lost their tent, they lost where they were staying, they didn't have any place. Like they were sending me pictures of like tattered blankets that they were sleeping between. Within the course of a week, we were able to raise $1,000 and send that money to them so they could afford a new tent. Knowing that the donations that we are sending them is getting them food, is getting them medicine. I get pictures of firewood that they're able to buy, or new clothes, and what is available because of the blockade and siege by Israel. There are just such limited things there. So the prices are insane. The best way right now to directly help Palestinians is by donating. People say to donate through organizations. I have a background in nonprofits, so I'm just like, my opinion on that is that nonprofits, unless they're doing direct aid on the ground, they are so inefficient. It's just so much better to give your money directly to Palestinian families.
Yeah, because what I've seen from families that are receiving money is I get that money and then I give it to everybody I know. And it's how they're able to keep, you know, everyone alive in their area. It is much more impactful to give it to one person, I think, than it is when it's like this nonprofit who has to like send people and then they have to like keep those people safe. Not to say that the work they're doing is not important, because obviously it is, but sometimes, yeah, like getting it to the community just kind of helps things just move a little faster in a situation like this. I know you have friends that are apolitical and you recently have been able to activate some of them. And what would you say is like a good way for, you know, hey, how can I activate my mom? How can I activate my sister, my brother-in-law, whoever it is that maybe whoever's watching this needs like tips on how to get that person involved?
Show them videos. This is the most documented genocide in history. Show them videos of it. I have shown my family the Eye on Palestine account. If they're not on social media like you are, they're not seeing what you're seeing. So it can be very easy for them to deny what's going on because they're not seeing it, or the news is only force feeding them some fabricated story. I remember one time I was in my nail salon and I was like watching the news that they had on. And that morning I had heard about a massacre in a hospital. And as we know, like people who are actually plugged into this issue, every single hospital in the Gaza Strip has been targeted, bombed, sieged, patients, innocent people, civilians, kids, anything that moves is killed. So yeah, there was a slaughter at the beginning of the day in this, I think it was Al Shifa. The narrative that I saw on social media, which wasn't even a narrative, it was just a straight up like video of what happened, and seeing the IDF going in, shooting at people on hospital beds. I got to see how Western media was actually reporting on this, and they reported on it saying that it was this huge, like, successful operation. They went in dressed as Palestinians. So we're like selling it as if it's this like big, awesome thing. And so to see that and to know exactly what happened, and that they were like shooting kids in the chest, it was just so disorienting to see that. Our elders aren't on social media like that. So it's our responsibility to show them the truth by any means. You just gotta find an in. It's just gotta be like, hey, how are you? Oh, like, I'm not really doing well. I've been seeing a lot of these videos that have really been upsetting me, and it's been hard to do anything, like seeing them, and I just really wish it would stop. And so it's kind of like your responsibility to open that conversation and to have good boundaries throughout it. With my dad, I had to hang up on my dad a lot. I stop it a lot. Like, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to like really honor my parents, but like as soon as it's getting into Israel didn't colonize Palestine, like as soon as it's getting into some absolute dangerous misinformation that's killing my friends, okay, I gotta hang up.
Yeah.
And then it's like from having those boundaries, they are able to understand because you communicated, like, what you said was just so hurtful that I couldn't even engage with it. So not entertaining false narratives, not entertaining racism. I think that's a big part of it. And just like educating people with what you're seeing. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to be a human being responding to the visualized genocide in front of your eyes. Like,
Yeah. And I think something that has kind of helped me in these conversations, because even I've had this kind of conversation with my grandmother who's super Republican, super conservative, and has always loved Trump from his first election. And during Thanksgiving, I really was like stressed. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna do. The way I've tried to do it and the way I've led these conversations is empathy first. I've said things, for example, like, what is it that a person has to do to deserve a 500-pound bomb dropped on them? Because one bullet can kill you. It's getting people to see the level of reaction that Israel is having. And I think explaining, like, so I understand that lives were lost on October 7th. And I said, but at what point is the blood that's been spilt going to satiate this hunger for more blood? How many Palestinian lives count for one Israeli life? If we're all the same and we should all love each other, like to my family, right? If this is what you want me to believe, then how many need to die? How many more children? How many elderly? How many disabled people?
And what about Palestine? Like, what about
Yeah.
Palestine? That's what I always bring it to. Israel has succeeded to a point where, like, many people just erase Palestine without even being conscious of it. So it's like, okay, you're zeroing in on these, just a little over 1,000 people's lives. But what about the 400,000 people who were murdered in the Nakba? What about the estimated now 500,000 people who have been killed in Gaza? What about 2021? What about 2022? What about 2023? What about all these massacres that Israel committed against Palestinians? Do they not get to defend themselves against that? Why not? Okay, you don't support the H groups, you don't support the armed resistance. Why does every other country in the world get a military but Palestine?
Yep.
Like, it's really just helping them understand that they are operating from that level of inequality and injustice, and that it's like just blatantly not right.
Yeah. And like a small way that I've broken it down as well is like, I'll say, like, all right, mom, I come into your house. I take your keys. I take all your stuff. I kick you out. I kill every single person in your family. And you go to the police and you're like, yo, my house, my family, what am I supposed to do? And the police come to me and I'm like, well, I needed a place to live. Who's the bad person in this scenario? And then whenever anyone brings up World War II, Palestine didn't commit World War II. That was not them. That was a whole other country. Why are you mad at Palestine? Is it because they're black and brown? Is it because they're Arab? Is it because they're Muslim?
They're Muslims, yes.
Like,
all the above. Yes.
You need to start really sitting here and being like, why do Palestinians deserve to die?
They don't.
Articles have come out saying that TikTok news reporting from young people like yourself is the reason that Israel has lost so much support. And I fully believe that this is why they want to get rid of TikTok. They are upset that the young people of today are spreading awareness, are activating each other, and are unifying each other against these causes that our states want to continue because it brings them money. But at what point are we going to say this thing that we invented that isn't inherently real or doesn't have inherent value needs to stop being our priority versus our neighbors, our families, our friends? We just can't keep going like this. It's just not working. I don't think it's working even in America. If it was, how many people are suffering through poverty in America? They don't have access to healthcare in America and are working jobs to the bone for no paid time off. You have no time to grieve, no time to have a baby. Like, we're so robotic, but we are not robots. And we can't just continue to separate ourselves from each other. The work that you're doing is really important, and I know that with this TikTok ban, it's kind of like scary what the future might bring, but I'm really glad like we were able to have this conversation, and I'm really glad we were able to connect, and I hope that we can continue to just activate our friends, activate our family, and activate everyone we meet until not just Palestine is free, but we are all free. Anything else you want to say before we sign out?
If you're in college, start another college encampment.
Yes!
I miss the college encampments. I miss them. I want to see them again. And never stop talking about Palestine. Bring it up every day in every conversation. Like, when I go outside and with my friends, they're like, oh, it's cold. I'm like, oh yeah, it's really cold. I can't believe that my friends in Gaza are having to live outside in this kind of weather. Please give whatever you can to the Darwish family. Mohammed Darwish, who's my contact for them, his mom is sick and needs help affording treatment, and his brother is sick as well and needs help affording his treatment. So if you can give anything to that GoFundMe, I do send money directly to Muhammad, who is 28. He was a taxi driver before the genocide, and he has like a degree in like HVAC. Like he does like air conditioning and internal heating and stuff. So
Yeah, I
very
think a
simple
lot of
guy.
people don't realize how normal their lives were. These were
Yeah,
just
no,
regular
no,
people,
literally.
just
No,
fixing
that's
air
like the thing
conditioners.
that's so jarring.
Yeah.
It's so jarring because their life was just, I mean, aside from being under an illegal occupation, their lives were just like us. And one day Israel just took it all away. So give what you can for them. Muhammad's the sweetest, and his family is beautiful, and they deserve to live. They deserve to live. Their lives matter.
If you guys can't donate, sharing those links, reposting Ash's videos, giving her as much engagement as possible, the least we could do is give our time. We can bear witness and support those who are doing the work for us and take the burden of this off of the Palestinians who just need to focus on surviving. Thanks, Ash. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Thank you so much for answering my DM from some random crazy person that you don't even know.
Of course, best decision ever.
I feel that. All right, thanks, guys. I'll probably raid out. Ash, you can like log off if you want. I'm just gonna find someone to raid out to, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I hope you enjoyed that. I'm hoping to do more of those going forward. I really want this to be a space where you feel inspired and where you feel like not just having your questions answered, but feel motivated to keep going, feel motivated to keep fighting. Thank you so much for being here. This is episode 1 of Las Factivistas, where we're going to talk about facts, activism, community organizing, and all the things, okay? So thank you so much, and we will see you guys soon.